Thought I would try that. It's my impression of the girl from The Grudge. And it somehow turned into an impression of me and how I was during my viewing of the new Grudge movie. Okay, so The Grudge 2020 is the next reincarnation of the Grudge series. It's directed by Nicholas Pesce, and it stars a lot of people, including Andrea Riseborough, John Cho, Damian Bashir, Jackie Weaver, Betty Gilpin, Lynn Shay. And this is a reboot or reimagining of the Grudge series, which obviously we have the original Japanese version, and then we had 2 American versions, and now we have this one. And it's a movie that's being released the first weekend in January. And if you're at least aware of like what movie studios do, if you like follow what movie studios do in general in regards to horror movies, you would know that the first weekend in January is one of the worst times to release a movie, period. It's usually a weekend where they release not only a horror movie, but one of the worst horror movies every year. Like, notable examples include last year's Escape Room, Devil Inside, Insidious 4, White Noise, Texas Chainsaw 3D, list goes on and on. They just know that they can just release it on the first weekend of the year, and they just can get their money back, whatever. So this one, it follows a mystery that goes on in the house, and essentially a police detective played by Andrea Riseborough is investigating all the previous deaths that are connected to this house, and eventually it shows how all these people were connected to this grudge, to the curse. And that's what I got from this movie. I've never actually seen any version of The Grudge before this, so this was my first experience watching that. And if you saw the beginning of this video, you noticed I was sleeping, and yes, I can confirm that. I actually dozed off during this movie. I think that's the best thing I can say about this movie. I dozed off during this movie. Well, it's not, but I'm just saying, is there anything good in here? Well, this movie's not terrible by any means. This movie doesn't have, like, anything really bad in it. Like, the acting's fine for the most part. All these actors I mentioned, they do all right. Like, they're not really given much to do in the movie, but, you know, you can tell at least some of them are trying to give good performances. And I guess the cinematography is okay every now and then. But, yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to stop the praise for this movie. Nothing else in this movie really works. The scares aren't really all that scary. And it's like basically every scare in this movie is that, you know, all the noise just dies down. Someone's investigating, and I'm just sitting there going, okay, so something scary is gonna pop out. Something scary will happen any second now. Any second now. Like 5, 4, 3, 2, and then right then something scary would come up, something disturbing, or intentionally disturbing that wasn't really disturbing. And yeah, it just, like, it's not that impressive, really. Like, I don't really remember anything that happened in this movie, honestly. Like, not, like, I mean, I do remember certain things that happened in this movie, but not really good. I don't really remember anything that was really good. It was, like, it didn't really scare me that much. And I kind of should have expected that, given the fact that it was the first weekend in January. Which, again, the worst time to release a movie. It's like, you should automatically mark that off a calendar. It's like, oh, this movie's coming out when? The first weekend in January. Nope. Because that movie's gonna suck. And this movie, well, it's not awful by any means. It's just not interesting. It's just dull. It's very bland. Like, nothing really interesting happens. Nothing really scary happens. The scares, you can see them coming from a mile away. And it's not really that scary because you're like, yeah, that's what was gonna happen. And it's like, I honestly don't understand why we needed to remake this movie again. I think that just comes down to that. So, overall, I feel like The Grudge is not a good movie by any means. It's not, like, the worst movie I've ever seen. It got an F cinema score, which is really bad. And I wouldn't give it an F, but I would probably give it, like, a D plus or something. Because, like, it's not bad. It's just not really all that good either. I will give The Grudge 2020 1.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. So, what is your favorite foreign horror film? What is your favorite remake of a foreign horror film? Americanized version, whatever. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and take care.